200 episodes later of One Piece. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sick right now. I'm sick, like, literally right now as I'm speaking. And I'm also sick, like, the past 3 days. So, like, literally for the past 3 days, I was just really, really sick. So, I had nothing better to do. And I just watched One Piece for, like, almost, 100 extra episodes for absolutely no reason. But overall, I did generally like One Piece, and it was actually pretty awesome, and I did actually enjoy it. One Piece is one of those, like, animes that is very long, and it feels overwhelming in the beginning, but then once you just get into it, you just want more, right? Now, obviously, my favorite arc right now has to be the Skypiea arc. It's one of my favorite arcs out there. Like, I literally just want to rewatch it again, but at the same time, I know there's better arcs, so I might as well move on. I mean, I also heard that, like, the Egg Ink arc or something is like 27 hours or something like this, where, like, literally the entire arc is just, them finding this, like, technology island or something. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these, like, overpowered characters or something come back and try to destroy Luffy, and Luffy unlocks Gear 5 in this arc, right? Which is absolutely insane. But even then, just going back to episode 200, and you keep in mind I haven't watched One Piece, I'm just recording my thoughts every 100 episodes or something like this, but, like, me watching One Piece and on episode 200, for starters, the freaking Emu, or whatever his name is, that dude with the Sharingans or something, is absolutely insane, okay? Let's just get this out of the way, okay? First of all, the dude is insane, okay? In my opinion, I don't know if Madara is stronger than him or whatever, because the dude is actually terrifying. You see, Madara in Naruto, right? Like, obviously he has this one power that can practically make an entire world fall into his spell and all these awesome stuff, and even then his powers isn't really shown a lot, and it was just very kind of like back and forth with storytelling and all these other stuff, while freaking Naruto doesn't do, or One Piece doesn't do that, right? One Piece actually shows the true powers of, like, each character, right? Especially with Crocodile, for example. Crocodile was also a really good character. I didn't really like him very much, but like his powers, I didn't really like him, but even then it was okay. Emo, on the other hand, bro, whatever his name is, the lightning god guy, he's absolutely insane, okay? And for starters, let's just keep this real. For starters, the dude made an entire, spoilers alert, sorry, for an entire city, he made an entire ball, okay, and lightning ball, and it pretty much destroyed one city, right? It was like the Angel City and destroyed it, which is absolutely insane, because if you think about it, Naruto, right? Obviously Naruto held back Madara a lot, but if you really think about it also, Naruto, didn't really have, that giant level power scaling, especially in the first 200 episodes. While on the other hand, you see, a guy made out of rubber and a guy made out of lightning fighting each other, and it was, like, actually insane. And actually what I do admire about One Piece, though, is not everything when it comes with, like, great explosions can beat certain characters, right? Obviously the lightning dude couldn't beat a small guy because he was made out of rubber, but keep in mind, some powers, even though they may look weaker, they could probably encounter some of the stronger powers, which I actually pretty much like, which is actually kind of cool, right? But even then, just looking back at all these arcs and all these stuff I passed is pretty awesome. There were also some smaller arcs in there. I won't lie, I have forgotten a lot of these smaller arcs. What I did like, though, is, I'm going to go back to Skypiea, though. What I did like about Skypiea is that they had this, I don't know what it's called, but it's pretty much like a shell, and you can pretty much activate it, and it can breathe fire. It can pretty much activate if you want to, like, let's say you want to hit a box with a hammer, so you hit it with it, right? Where you hit the box with the hammer, but instead you don't really technically hit the box, if that makes sense. And pretty much if you activate the shell because you hit it and you placed it towards the box, it can pretty much reflect that damage towards you, right? It's like a reflection thing. I don't know if I explained it right, but anyways, a lot of these stuff are kind of overpowered, and if you really think about it, I can definitely see Usopp later on use something like this, right? I also like Nami's weapon. I think it was pretty creative, and I honestly do think that Nami's weapon has some sort of power that is a little bit, hidden. I might make a separate video on this because Nami's weapon, and I might talk about this here too, Nami's weapon, what I love so much about it is it has 3 different elements, and the reality is I think if you use your brain, and not only that, if you have like different gadgets or like different like ways to like kind of make this a little bit more powerful, I think this weapon could probably nuke a lot of enemies. I mean, let's be real here. Like, she has like, I think an electric one. I think she has water. Like, she can make water come out, but even though it's like little sprinklers now, imagine in the future, she could make large floods to destroy enemies and stuff like that, which I do find insane, and I actually generally like with Nami's weapon, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome later on in the future. But overall, like, I generally did like a lot of these things, and like a lot of like the stuff that I watched in One Piece. I don't know how in the world Zoro came like powerful, like out of nowhere. He practically one-shots a character. Same thing with Luffy. I mean, at some point, I won't lie, there are moments where I just generally question, like, how did they get this powerful, right? While Naruto does take forever, it still explains how, Naruto becomes powerful. But, Luffy, on the other hand, sometimes it feels a little weird and just looking at it, you're like, how in the world did they become powerful? And then you realize that they probably explained it 9 episodes back, but they never like, decided to go ahead and re-explain it again. What I actually like about One Piece is, and this is what I want to get into, is I also noticed within that 200 episode range, a lot of the stuff that they mention, like even on episode 1, 2, or 3 or whatever, kind of gets mentioned later on, right? Obviously not everything, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is like a lot of the story writing in One Piece, and I could tell this very early on, it feels like it's going to be connected later on, right? Like Skypiea, right? I do feel like Skypiea has to be connected later on, or at least has to have some sort of update. I feel like it'd be terrible writing if it did not have a single update at all whatsoever. And I do like literally generally think that Skypiea would probably, come in with like a massive giant update. It says, hey, here's what our city looks like now, because we kind of want to know what it looks like, not gonna lie. Or at least I do. If they reveal, I don't know if they reveal it or not. But anyways, I do see a lot of these, stuff connecting later on. And I don't think these civilizations that they will mention, and there's probably more to come, especially me hearing a whole bunch of other civilizations. I think there's like a water one or something. But even then, these civilizations, I feel like they're all connected because of one person and one person only. And it's Robin, right? Because I feel like if Robin wasn't there in the crew, it wouldn't be connected at all. But because of that, I feel like it's gonna be connected because she's trying to, find the histories of the world. But even then, I don't like Robin's character very much. I think she's very bland and boring. Nami, she's okay. She's just very whiny. But overall, my favorite 2 freaking characters has to be Luffy and obviously Zoro. I actually do generally like Zoro. I mean, the dude probably belongs in Naruto. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I know there's memes of him like losing his way towards Naruto, but let's be for real. His powers could probably go ahead and just put him in the Naruto universe and he would probably fit in, right? He is probably one of my favorite characters, and there's only one reason only, because of his 3 swordsman style. Which you gotta understand, 3 swordsman style is pretty insane, right? Most people only go for 1 or 2, but imagine 3. And fun fact, I did watch the Film Theory's short video on him, like, talking about, is it possible to do third style in real life? And the answer is no, because it would just break our teeth. But even then, if you really just look at Zoro's character, it's just pretty awesome, pretty cool. I mean, also his teeth is probably made out of iron or something. Let's be for real here. This guy is crazy, right? I will admit that I feel like the first 100 episodes is one of the worst episodes ever. I did personally like the first, I think, 5 or 10 when Zoro comes in, but even then, the first 100 episodes felt very boring and bland, and it just felt very right? It feels kind of just like introducing the characters. Even when Robin comes in, around Robin, I would probably say it still kind of gets a little boring, but as soon as Skypiea hits, it's insane. I don't know. I might make another video if I do hit 300. I don't know how long that's going to be. That literally could be 3 days from now. I literally watched 100 episodes in 3 days. Okay, I'm not kidding. So, I don't even know. I don't think so, right? Because I was sick the entire time, right? I don't ask, okay? That could be 6 months from now, or something like that. But I might just go ahead and make a video on it if I generally do feel like, making a video on it. But here it is, episode 200 of One Piece. And I will see you guys on 300. I don't know if I'll do that. Personally, probably not. But other than that, that's pretty much it. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.